How you doing, Real Motivation? Terrence McKinney back with a new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about staying active. And when I mean staying active, I mean when you want to actively stay in the streets and at the same time you got something positive going on in your life, or you got a job, you got a career, but at the same time you want to be in the streets. It's not going to work. It's been a couple weeks past now since Young Dolph passed. May he rest in peace. Yes, it was very sad, but to be honest with you, I wasn't surprised when I seen it. Now, when rappers get killed these days, I'm never surprised. It's always gonna be sad, but I'm never surprised. I'm not surprised because a lot of these rappers are still active in the streets, and when you in the streets, that's what comes with the streets. And Young Dolph had plenty of chances to remove himself out of those situations. They shot him. They shot at him rather 100 times 4 to 5 years ago, and they missed every single time. And he came out with a whole CD talking about how they missed. Then maybe 2 years after that, they shot him in L.A. and I think they may have hit him in the leg or hit him in the ankle or something else, and he still didn't change what he was rapping about, or he still didn't change the dissing that he was doing. He was still actively seeking, that street life. And if you don't separate yourself from the streets, then the streets gonna always win in the end, and they always gonna get the advantage. I mean, you can't be doing something positive. You can't have this flourishing career. You can't be making all this money, and you can't be doing all this positive stuff and then still be fascinated with the streets, because I'm telling you, the streets gonna win every single time. And think about all the rappers who done got murdered over the years. Most of them had themselves into street business. You can go all the way back to Tupac, the beginning and the starting of the rappers getting killed. And what happened that night when Pac got killed? That same night when Pac got killed, he was in a gang fight. You see him on camera stomping out a well-known gang member from L.A. I mean, you seen it. I mean, it was like 6 or 7 of them, and Pac was all in the middle of it. They got tons and tons of footage of it, and you see Pac stomping him and Pac in a gang fight. And once Pac put himself into that, then anything that came back on him, it's just street stuff. And at that time, Tupac career, he was at the top. He was the best rapper out. He was a talented actor. His career was trajectory to go to the sky, and at that point he probably reached any peak that rappers ever hit, and he had a cult fan base, he had followings and everything else. Pac didn't have to be in no gang fight, and he shouldn't have been in no gang fight. You got to separate yourself from that, because later on that night, them same gang members came back and they sprayed up, Suge Knight car, and they killed Pac. And that's what happened when you in the streets. The streets don't respect like who you is. Once you dibbling and dabbling in it, then you open yourself with all the consequences that's gonna come with men in the streets. Take for instance, Nipsey Hussle. I know that trial still ain't happened yet, but when you hear the story behind what happened was, he was at his clothing shop, but he was putting himself into some street stuff. If he asked somebody was they snitching, and he wanted to see his papers before he came back around there and spoke with him, then once again he opened himself up to some street drama, something that happened in the streets. Because when you're in the streets, that's total disrespect when you asking somebody if they snitching, or if you telling them you don't want to talk to them again, or they can't come back around here without their papers and everything else. If a guy really didn't snitch, and that's a false narrative, then that's like a slap in the face, and that's like an open challenge, and that's like you opening yourself up to whatever come with it. And just think about, like all these rappers this year. Like I wrote a list down because it's crazy once you start thinking about it, how these guys is making all these millions and millions of dollars, but they still want to be active in the streets, and all it is getting them in trouble. NBA YoungBoy. You know, I mean, he probably the biggest young artist that out there right now. You know, he just bonded out and he facing some serious time for gun charges. Fetty Wap, they got him right off the stage when he was coming off Rolling Loud, like, and he getting charged. He just bonded out for a major heroin trafficking case. They got Casanova in jail right now. That's a big New York rapper with all type of gang cases. Hot Boy, a young Florida rapper, that he in jail. I mean, well, he bonded out too, but they trying to hit him with RICO charges. Pooh Shiesty, who coming off of his biggest year, had the song of the year last year and everything else. I mean, they was rapping this song from every club that you went in, every radio station was playing this song over and over and over. But he can't even get a bond. He in jail for gun and robbery charges. Gucci Man, other artists, Fujiano, that he had just signed, he just got 5 years in jail. Not to mention, you know, Kodak Black had to get pardoned from Donald Trump. When do you see that? You know, and he out. I mean, I don't know what's the stipulations behind that, but he did multiple years, in, you know, different jail bids. Kevin Gates did multiple different jail bids. Lil Boosie did a whole lot of time behind jail. Bobby Shmurda and Roddy Rebel just getting out of jail. And then you got a lot of artists who've been in jail sitting for a long time and they might not even see the daylight, you know. BG, he been in jail for a long time. AR-Ab, they trying to give him a long time in jail. C Murder been in jail for over 15 to 20 years. TK, he gonna be in jail for a long time. YNM Melly, he gonna be in jail for a long time. And it's just like these guys, they reach it to a point to where they can take care of their family, they can take care of their kids, they can take care of everybody that's been there with them from day one. And one thing they can't separate themselves from is they can't stay out of the streets. And the streets gonna win every single time. When you actually out there doing something positive, you can't be doing something negative on the same wavelength. You can't be going to the studio. You can't be done change your life, or say you changed your life, or you can't be came across this source to change your life and to dramatically change your life better than normal people living on the streets that still want to be connected with the streets, because it ain't gonna work. You can't stay active, you know, in the streets, and then at the same time pursue a career or try to be a rapper or try to be anything. And this just don't even pertain to just the rappers. You see this happen in real life. You see this happen every single day. It just don't get the same attention because some of them people just ain't as known and famous as regular people. But you can't go try to open a business, you know, and still be in the streets, because guess what's gonna happen? I mean, them street dealers gonna get to you one way or another. Like, you gonna either the police gonna either come and then they gonna confiscate your business, and they gonna take everything that you thought you worked so hard for, or that street business is gonna spill over and somebody gonna hate you, or somebody gonna be jealous of you, and somebody gonna rob you, and somebody gonna either try to take your life or you gonna wind up taking your life. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you're doing something positive, you gotta leave everything negative alone. You can't do both. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. You can't stay active in the streets and try to pursue something positive. It just don't work. And I know somebody out there watching this video got a friend, or they know somebody who was trying to change their life, but at the same time they still have one foot in the streets and they have one feet, you know, them doing something positive. But the thing about it is, they probably never seen their pinnacle, or they probably never seen the height of what being straight positive 24/7 could get them, because whatever they was doing in the streets overcame. And so when I see these rappers and I look on TV and I see the demise of another rapper, or if I see the killing of another rapper, or I mean just anybody you think about it. Think about King Von. He had made it. You know, he was on his way to maybe his biggest year ever. And what happened? He couldn't stay not active in the streets. The minute he seen somebody he ain't like, he attacked him. and he got into a big fight when he should have been above that. I mean, he had too much money to even be worried about that. And we got a problem to where we want to just, we call ourselves keeping it real, but that's a plain example of when keeping it real go wrong. Like when you actually get behind, you get killed behind yourself keeping it real. How's that benefit anybody? How's that benefiting your family? How's that benefiting your kids? How's that benefiting you, period? If you're not even around no more to enjoy all the stuff that you done overcame and worked so hard to get, it don't make sense. Everybody don't get to walk away scot free like 6ix9ine. Everybody is not gonna, be able to just, get out of all their troubles and to go on with their life after they done dibble dabbled in the streets. The streets come with consequences, and the streets when they play, it's for keeps. And so no matter what you're doing, if you're a rapper, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to start your own business, or you going to work every single day, you got to leave the streets alone. You can't go to work in the daytime and want to be a drug dealer at nighttime, or you can't be pursuing something positive and you still want to, ride anytime one of your friends got a problem, or you want to be quick to pull your gun out and you got something. It don't work like that, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a time and when you think it might be something light, or it's going to be something come back on you, and you ain't going to be ready for it. So my whole point of this video is you cannot stay active in the streets and do something positive at the same time. All you doing is setting yourself up for failure. So if anybody watching this video, and anybody knows somebody that's watching this video who walking that line, who trying to straddle that line, and know somebody who actually got something good for themselves, but they can't leave the streets alone, send this video to them, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to stay active in the streets, it's going to ultimately be your demise, and it's going to set up everything that it's going to ruin everything that you worked so hard for.